Hey PokeMoshPit, what is up? My name is Noah, YouTube name NoJNP, and today I'm posting an OU Wi-Fi battle. Now, you might be thinking, who is NoJNP? This guy definitely is not a director on PNP. Well, that is right. I've never posted a battle on PokeMoshPit, but I did go to the KOTC Tournament on October 8th, had a great time, had a great record at the end of the tournament, and befriended DMAC, who offered me a chance to post a video of one of my battles. So this battle here is with darkmaster491, which was my second battle of the tournament and by far the closest one. So sit back, relax, and I hope you guys enjoy the battle. So let's start off. I want to lead off with my Scarf Rotom, knowing you'll outspeed all of his Pokemon unless some of they are Scarfed. And he's going to lead off with his Infernape right here. I'm thinking, what? Maybe he is a Choice Scarfed as well, because most Infernapes now are either Choice Scarfed or Choice Banded. Anyway, I'm just going to go for the Volt Switch, going to get some Switch priority and initiative going, and he goes into this fat fuck, which is named Blissey. Anyway, I'm going to go into my Breloom, knowing that I will be able to outspeed him. I'm just going to go for the Spore, and this is good for me. Now, I'm thinking that this Blissey has the natural cure ability, so I'm going to stay in here. I want to go for the Spore again, predicting him to bring the Gliscor. Then I could catch him off guard. He would be asleep instead of poisoned with the Poison Heal. But he's going to wake up, going to go for the Ice Beam, super effective, and that almost takes me out. So here, I'm just going to have to go for the Spore again and go for the obvious decision. I'm going to go for the Substitute because this is a Sub-Punch 1. And right here, he's going to switch out into the Gliscor. I'm like, no! He does exactly what I wanted him to do 2 turns ago, but that didn't work out. But I'm behind his sub, and he has a Gliscor out, so the only thing logical enough to do is just do some insignificant amount of damage. He's going to go for the Acrobatics, tell me a little bit about his moveset. That it's not really the standard one. I want to go for the Focus Punch, knowing it won't really do much, and judging by the amount of HP, this is a defensive set. So I want to predict him to go for the Acrobatics again, so I want to go into my Gyarados, a sub-Dragonancing one that I have swept so many people with. And I get the Intimidate drop, which is really nice. I want to predict him to go for the Acrobatics again, but he does the Fling and the Toxic Orb, and that is not good for me because I was planning to sweep with my Gyarados. He would probably switch out into his Jellicent. I could get up a Substitute, then some Dragonances. That would have been a good time, but no. I get poisoned with my Gyarados. That is going to limit his time in here. I'm going to predict him to switch out, so I'm going to get up a Substitute, and I will be able to try to sweep as long as I possibly can. So what's going to happen is I'm going to go for the Dragon Dance first turn. And he's going to go for a very interesting move. He's going to end up going for a Zen Headbutt, which I definitely do not see on Metagross all too often. But the Zen Headbutt will do enough to break my Substitute. But I am at +1 attack and speed, so I want to go for that super effective Earthquake. And that will do a very nice damage against his Metagross next turn as he goes for the Trick. Now, I know I'm a little bit ahead of myself, but I was thinking, Trick, what is this? He's definitely not choiced into the Zen Headbutt. What is he going to possibly trick me? And he tricks me the Iron Ball. Very original set. I very much give him credit for using such an original set at a tournament where everyone just tries to win and use the most hoary Pokemon. Like every Latios I see was Specs, then every Tyranitar I see was the lead one, and Ferrothorns everywhere. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, I want to kill off his Metagross, but I'm also going to die to the Toxic. So it's 5-5. I want to bring my Rotom. He is going to bring in the Jellicent. I want to go for the Volt Switch. I do get a crit. That doesn't really matter. But I see his Jellicent, I've seen his Blissey, and I see his Gliscor. And that is his main defensive core. And I could break the Jellicent with all the Volt Switches. And I could break his Gliscor with all my Hydro Pumps, but Blissey brings me trouble. Anyway, I'm going to pick the status move. I want to go into my Reuniclus because I do have that Magic Guard ability. He is going to do this key play right here. He is going to get the Special D drop with the Shadow Ball right there, and that actually meant something, regardless about how a -1 in Special D matters. Even though I do have a neutral Special Defense now, I do have +1 in Special Attack. But I know that another Shadow Ball will do as much as the first one, so I'm going to have to go for 2 recovers. That means I'm going to have enough HP to start going for the Calm Mind again. And I realized that in this battle, I could just Calm Mind and recover up all the time. I get to +6. The only Pokemon that will bring me trouble is his Latios, because like I said earlier, all Latios in this tournament are going to be Choice Specs, and the only move that can really threaten me with is a Trick. That would lock me into a move, so that's actually what's going to happen in a few turns. He is going to switch out next turn into his Latios, and I'm going to go for a Calm Mind. That would mean my Special Attack is at +2 and my Special Defense is at +1. So that is what is going to happen next turn. And I'm thinking to myself, I should keep my Reuniclus in next turn because I just want to keep get a sweep going because I'm planning to sweep everyone else. I thought I had a really good team, and I'm going to leave my Reuniclus in. I just called him Jellicent. I want to leave him in with a +2 Side Shock. I want to predict him to go for the trick. So now I'm +2 with Stab and the Choice Specs. So I know the Side Shock is going to do a lot of damage. But what I was saying earlier with the special defense drop from the Shadow Ball is what's going to happen. He is going to go for the Draco Meteor, and that's going to do a significant amount of damage, a lot more than what it would have done if I was at +2 special defense. But I will be able to take out this Latios. But what really bugged me is with the amount of HP I have right now, I know I could probably barely live a U-turn from a Choice Banded Infernape, which he brings in, and I don't live it. He gets max damage or something, and that confirms that he's definitely a Choice Banded Infernape rather than Choice Scarf. Anyway, my Jellicent dies right there. That was really annoying me. The only good thing I get out of this is I get switch priority. He's going to bring in his Gliscor right here. I'm going to bring in my Rotom. I'm just going to try to go for the Hydro Pump, I believe. He's going to go for the Protect. Very nice play. Now he knows what I'm going to lock myself into. So I'm going to predict him to go into the Jellicent, getting the Water Absorb ability, and I'm just going to go into my Breloom, and I actually predict him very nicely. Now, what's going to happen, I'm going to predict him again. I want to predict him to think that I'm going to go for the Spore, so he's going to go back into the Gliscor right here, and I'm just going to go for the Substitute. I didn't really want to switch out into any other Pokemon. I didn't want to over-predict too much. That would not have been good for me. So what's going to happen here, same situation as before. I'm behind a sub, so I'm just going to go for that Focus Punch, get a little bit of damage off this Gliscor, and here's where the battle gets very interesting. So I'm going to predict him to go for another Acrobatics. So I'm going to switch into my Reuniclus. Not my Reuniclus, my Rotom, because like I said, my Rotom counters all of his Pokemon except his Blissey. So he does go for the Acrobatics, and now I plan to go for the Trick, expecting him to really go for the Protect, which I've already seen, but for whatever reason he doesn't, which I found really weird. I get the Trick off, which means his Blissey is now Choice Scarfed, and it's pretty much useless in the battle, which means my Rotom just has a huge factor of playing in this game to kill all of his Pokemon. Probably not about the Infernape, because that will outspeed me now, but all the other Pokemon, he can do a huge job. So I want to see what this Blissey is going to lock himself into. I want to Volt Switch into my Jirachi. He takes a crit that did only 60 damage, and this is why I love my Jirachi. I believe it's Calm Nature. No, it's Careful Nature. Anyway, I'm predicting him to switch out right here, and I do predict him fabulously. I got my prediction pants on. This is a good time, and I'm just going to go for that Volt Switch. And what's going to happen is that another key moment here is I'm going to be able to see that he has the Cursed Body ability, which means I can basically lock myself into any move if I wanted to. Or I could have actually swept him with my Gyarados because he didn't have the Water Absorb in the first place. Maybe he was bluffing that very well, I don't know. I'm just going to go into my Terrakion knowing that a Scarf Terrakion will be able to completely outrun all of his Pokemon now. And I'm going to go for the Stone Edge knowing that it will kill. I didn't want to go for the Earthquake just in case he wanted to go into that Gliscor. That would not have been good for me. So he brings in the Infernape. I'm like, what are you going to do? I really thought that he was going to go for the Mach Punch. So I'm going to bring my Brilliant in as Death Fodder. He doesn't really have a point in this battle anymore. But I see that he's going to lock himself in that close combat. So I'm just going to bring in my Jirachi right here, thinking that I could get off a Wish and then get off another attack, and he would be at minus like 3 defense at that point. But no, he's just going to bring in his Gliscor, which isn't necessarily bad. I do have the Wish off, so I could just Wish pass it right to my Rotom, knowing that he's probably going to go for the Acrobatics or the Earthquake, and I could definitely take that and then get my HP up to a high stat again. And this was a very long battle, as you guys could see in the time frame. So there's obviously a time limit in the real life tournaments. It's 45 minutes, and I didn't want it to run out during the battle, but if it did, I need my Pokemon to be at high HP percentage, so I would have won based on my higher HP percentage of all my Pokemon versus his Pokemon, because I believe we're tied the amount of Pokemon we have. Anyway, I went for the Volt Switch right there. I wanted to see what he's going to lock himself into, and it's just another useless move. I want to go for the Trick rate, not the Trick, the Wish right here. I just want to keep my HP up high, like I said before. He gets the Paralyze with the, what's that called? The Thunderbolt. That really didn't do much. I'm predicting the switch right here, but he continues going for the Thunderbolt, which means that he's just leaving his Blissey and his Death Fodder, which is no worries to me. I'm going to go for the Volt Switch. I didn't want to go for the Hydro Pump miss, and then he would go for the Thunderbolt and paralyze my Rotom, because like I said earlier, my Rotom plays a huge factor in this game. So I'm just going to go into my Jirachi. I will be able to take at least one more of those. I could probably take at least 1,000,000 more of those now that I think of it. And next turn, I'm just going to go for the Iron Head, and that will be able to take out his Blissey, which is awesome. Now I'm leading the Pokemon, and he has 2 Pokemon that are very weak to my team. He is going to bring in his Infernape. And I want to leave my Jirachi in his Death Fodder. He really serves no purpose. My Pokemon are at fine HP, and I believe I have the game right here if I play my cards right. So he's going to lock himself into that Flare Blitz. No worries whatsoever. I'm going to go into my Terrakion, and I cannot overpredict at this stage. I cannot go for the Stone Edge and miss or something. I'm just going to go for the close combat. He is going to go for the obvious choice. He's going to go into the Gliscor. No worries. This is fine for me because I have the perfect check to his Gliscor at this point. I'm just going to go into my Rotom. And the only thing he could really hit me with is the Acrobatics, which is fabulous for me because I have Hydro Pumps left, and he has to sacrifice one of his Pokemon because both of them are weak to the Hydro Pump, and Hydro Pump is guaranteed KO on both of his Pokemon. Unfortunately, he's going to get the Double Protect, which is no worries really, but the turn after this I will be able to go for the Hydro Pump, and that is a dead Gliscor. So now it's 2-1 in my favor right after this turn, and I know that his Infernape is going to have to lock himself into some move, so the second to last turn of the battle, I'm going to let my Rotom die as Death Fodder to his Infernape. He decides to lock himself into close combat, meaning that -1 defense will be an easy 1 KO for my Terrakion, so I am going to be able to kill his Infernape with my Terrakion to win the game 1-0. Fabulous game, no weather, no rocks. That's such a very nice and clean OU game. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the battle. Hope you enjoyed my narration. If you did, please check out my channel. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Rate, comment, subscribe, and as always, take care.